and welcome to It's Not That Late with Liv Harrison. You guys, thank you for tuning in on Veritas on 1350 a.m. if you're up in Connecticut or on Long Island, and maybe you are listening on their app, or perhaps you're listening on a podcast app, or maybe, just maybe, you're watching on YouTube, possibly Facebook. However this is happening, thank you for being here. I want to talk about friendship. And I want to talk about female friendship, first of all, because let me just say this. I grew up with three brothers and none of them are girls. That's how the whole brother thing works. So when I got to school and there were girls there, I didn't really know what to do, and I don't think this is unique to a lot of people. Like if you have one set of siblings, like a gender, and then you interact with the other gender, you're like, I don't know what to do. Like with girls, I was like, I don't understand what's happening here. I want to talk about Star Wars and Atari. Yes, that shows how old I am. But they wanted to talk about My Little Pony and Strawberry Shortcake. I'll tell you why I liked My Little Pony and Strawberry Shortcake. I really like Strawberry Shortcake because all the dolls smelled like dessert. And as we know, I was a chubby kid. So I loved my strawberry shortcakes because they were delicious. Okay. I also was absolutely the kid that would eat the lip smackers. I really loved like the cola flavored because I was not allowed to have Coca-Cola or, any type of like beverage that was beyond water. So I would absolutely load up on any of the makeup things that smelled like cola, or like if I was allowed to have gummy bears, I would get like the cola flavored gummy bears, So when it comes to female friendships, it took me a really long time to figure out how to, I was going to say play that game, how to interact. I'll give an example. I was at SiriusXM at the studios. I used to be on the show frequently, on Jen Fulweiler's show, for a few years. And when I would go to New York, I would make sure that they would let me go live. I love how I said that I would make them. I would beg. I would beg them to let me go live at the SiriusXM studios in New York on 6th Avenue, Avenue of the Americas. I'm pretty sure it's 6th Avenue. We'll just say it is. And I thought it was super cool because I'd walk in and it would be like a bunch of famous people. I'm not kidding. Every time I went, I met Al Roker. I met like all sorts of random people that were just there. One day I walk in, and there's something called the Fishbowl, okay? And it's a glass studio in the middle of SiriusXM. So when you walk off of the elevators, you see this glass tank of people, okay? And on this day, there were risers on the other side. So there's actual human beings watching people in the glass tank. Now, everyone that's like in the bleachers has these big badges, and I just pretend that they're all from Duluth. I don't know why, but it just helps my story. So everyone in the risers is from Duluth. Okay, I don't know if that's true. The people inside this fish tank or the fishbowl, I don't know what it's called, whatever it is. I see all of a sudden someone really slouchy, and I'm squinting through the glass like a total creeper. And it's Jenny McCarthy. And I was like, why is Jenny McCarthy here? Come to find out she has her own show on SiriusXM. Okay. And apparently she's really great at it. I'm sure she is. And so it's Jenny McCarthy. And then I start noticing, I know a lot of these people. I recognize a lot of these people. And I'm like, oh, that's Cher from Clueless, which is Alicia Silverstone. She has a real name. And Mina Savari was there. She was in American Beauty. Kyle Richards, who I know not from, she's in Real Housewives. So those of you that watch Real Housewives of like Orange County or LA, or I don't know, I don't watch it. I know she's on that show with her sister Kim, but I know her as a Disney star. Her and her sister Kim Richards were both Disney stars, and they happen to be the aunts to the Hilton sisters. If you know like Nikki and Paris Hilton, those are their aunts. Anyway, I know Kim Richards from, what was the name? I'll have to think of it. Betty Davis was in it. It was creepy. Anyway, I start freaking out. I'm like, I know all these people. Well, they don't know me, but I know all of these people. Okay. Well, then I see the people of Duluth stand up with their badges and they start getting in a line. And I had hired a photographer, my girlfriend, Karen, who's an incredible photographer. She ended up working for Jen and Hallie as well. And she did my latest photos, the ones that look like Saturday Night Live and my last shoot. That's all Karen. So she's there. And I said, what if I hop in that line with all the Duluth people? I was like, do you think I'd get to meet Cher? That's all I wanted to do was meet Alicia Silverstone, because who doesn't love Clueless? She said, sure, hop in the line. So I did. And I gave her my phone and she took pictures because there was a real photographer there. And the people with Duluth had the big VIP badges and they got real pictures with the real photographer. Karen's a real photographer. But I mean, like with the SiriusXM, like we're going to mail this to your house photographer. Okay, whatever. So I get up there and I'm noticing these women. The entire time they're just staring at the camera, like very like out of it, like whatever that word is, like what is it? Like just aloof. Is that aloof? They're just staring at the camera, whatever. They're not looking at one person. Every person comes up and they're like freaking out. They're like, I'm from Iowa, you know, and they're like, da, 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 da. And like, they like run up and they're like, ha, ha. And they're just, you know, trying to like, you know, get up next to Lisa Silverstone and whatever. And they do not break contact with the camera. Like they don't look at these people. They didn't shake their hands. They didn't say hello. Like it was the most crazy thing. And I've been around a lot of celebrities in New York, not a ton in LA. I know a few, but I haven't been around them. But New York is not like that. And I was like, these LA celebrities are something else. I was like, they're not nice to anybody. So I decide, well, I'm not doing that. I'm not from Duluth. So I'm watching this whole thing happen. My turn to come up and I go up to Alicia Silverstone and I put out my hand and I said, hey, I love your vegan cookbook. It is one of my favorites because I knew she was a big vegan. And I do love her vegan cookbook. That is true. And she lit up like a Christmas tree. Like Alicia Silverstone goes, oh, really? In her little tiny share voice. And she put her arm around me and she rubbed my back the whole time, which I'm not sure if I was wanting to go that far, but she did. She rubbed it. It's not that late. She rubbed my back the whole time and took pictures. And then when I was leaving, she held my hands and she was like, well, you were just so sweet. And I was like, ladies, y'all were fantastic. They were awful. And I was like, you know, take care. And then I went to do a show, which they didn't care. And it made me think about women and friendships and how cold they were and how, because I wasn't in their club or in their group, they were like, peace out. But the second I said something that was of interest to one of them, you know, I was in. So obviously, Alicia and I like stay in touch. She has no idea who I am. I want to bring in Taylor because Taylor has the opposite growing up with me. As we all know, Taylor is now producing the show, Taylor Schroll, and he likes to sing a lot. And Taylor grew up with all sisters and not brothers. And this is why I think you and I actually get along so well, because I'm really comfortable hanging out with guys. I've always said I'm a guy's gal. And we all know that, you know, you're just one step away from being a lady. I'm kidding.
Well, I'm just going to go.
No, it's not true. Taylor's actually one of the most manly men I know. He's a coach and he like does
also
all these
not
athletic
true.
things.
We went way too far.
See, I do that. I go way too far. But let me ask you, do you think you suffered because you had I know you love your sisters. I know you do. But did it change how you interacted with guys like as you came into your own? Or make you better?
I think I have better relationships with women than I do with the guys in my life. Yeah. I think it's because I was surrounded by women my entire life.
Right. So kind of the similar, like kind of the same. Like that's why like I've always had best guy friends.
Yes, you and I are the same.
That is true. We are as much as it pains him, we are very similar. And this is probably one of the biggest ways. And I think it is because I had brothers. And so I'm used to guys. Like I'm used to talking to guys, hanging out with guys. I like what they talk about. Like I can't hang out with women when they start talking about laundry and like lice and things like that. I peace out. Like I end up smoking a cigar and having whiskey with the husbands on, you know, the front porch. But you don't sit around and talk about laundry and stuff. Like what? And you're a sports guy though, and you play video games. So what is it for you? Why do you think that like you connect better with women? I don't know, than guys. Because I still feel like you're kind of a guy's guy. No?
I mean, I'm like Paul. I've become all things to all people. I've learned to do all of it. I mean, like, it's just one of those things that like guys' friendships, especially like growing up, are very different. Like growing up, the girls were always fighting. And like, I think as women get older, they're not fighting as much anymore. Not that it goes away, but like guys, like legitimately, I got in a actual fist fight, including like helmets being thrown with the punches. Like it's the dumbest thing in the world. When football players get in fights, the first thing they do is they take off their headgear, which is silly. But I got in a fight with a guy Guess who drove him home that day?
You did.
I did.
Y'all are so weird. Y'all are so weird. Y'all can literally punch each other and it's done. Where women were like, okay, that one time in 3rd grade when you said my lipstick was like not cool, and it was cool because I'm in 3rd grade. Why do you have lipstick in 3rd grade? That's a terrible analogy.
I did.
Taylor. But it's true. Like we will be like, so she's not my friend anymore. Like it's over. You know, like we'll hold on to it or we'll think whatever. And I've had so many girlfriends be like, I forgot I said that to you, or I don't know, or like whatever. But guys, y'all can like punch each other and you're done and you're over it. But yet you still hang out. Like I know Allison and I are 2 of your best friends, and we're both women and we're both older than you by a lot, which I think is hilarious. But that's okay for you. Like I don't know why. Why, Taylor? Let's crack this nut open.
I learned that in friendship, like everybody in friendship, you give some and then you take some, right? Well, I learned that eventually, if I became y'all's friends, I could become y'all's clients. And old women tend to have a lot of money, and they could then give me that money. So this is all a long con.
You want to be in my will?
Yeah, exactly.
Listen, these are the things Taylor teases me about: money and being older. Here's the thing. If you're older, you have more money than Taylor. Like that's not hard. He's 9. Okay. It's easy to have more money than Taylor. Second of all, I mean, I'm not that much older, Taylor, but yeah, those are his favorite things to pick on me about. I love that you just admitted to everybody that you use Allison and I, and that we're not really friends.
It's never been a secret. It's been quite obvious to everyone.
He's also kidding. He loves us tremendously, and he actually is a good friend, but he doesn't want us to tell people that. He has a rep to uphold. So yeah,
I want your parents and fans to continue to despise me. It's all I want in life. I did it by naturally, and they hate me anyway. So why not just lead into it?
They do not. They love you. And I tell them all the time what a good guy you actually are. But yeah, I have to say, it took me a long time to make peace with women. Not that Alicia like ever calls, but with actual women in my life. And the guest who we're going to have today, which I'm pretty excited that she's here. And by pretty excited, I mean, I'm trying not to scream. Taylor hates when I do that. Y'all, this woman is one of the greatest women I know. She is a huge, huge person in my life about female relationships and women and how that works. And she's a really good female relationship. Like she is like the bridge that brought me from Alicia to the rest of the world. That's not true at all. She used to live in DC. She just moved to Raleigh. You guys, she happens to be in town because she flew in, and I'm going to call her up in a second. I don't want you to go anywhere. I'm talking about Laura Roland. You have time to go find out who she is because you're going to be as excited as I am. Don't go anywhere. You are tuned into It's Not That Late with Liv Harrison. Welcome back to It's Not That Late with Liv Harrison. And as you can see, I've got the incredible Laura Roland with me. If you don't know Laura, you're about to, because she's one of my favorite humans on the planet. You know that.
Oh, Liv.
Because I tell you all the time.
You do. And you're one of mine.
It's a little annoying.
Do they know what we're going to do? This is just what we're going to do.
This
for
is
like
it.
The next,
we're
this
just
is
going
it.
to tell each other. Now I like female friendships because
know.
this is what you taught me to do, which we just braid each other's hair and we say, I love you and we love Jesus. No.
Yeah, that's pretty much
kind
what
of
we
the
do.
gist of it.
Yeah.
Okay, but so for real, friend,
Yeah.
before I get into who you are and what you do, I think it makes way more sense to talk about you just moved.
We did just move.
You did. You
We
lived
did.
in the DC area forever in a really cool apartment situation.
Yeah.
Like it was cool. Like
It
you
was cool.
It was really cool.
It was cool.
And then you moved during the pandemic once. And then you thought that was so fun. I want to do that again. And this time I want to move out of state.
Exactly.
So you went to Raleigh.
We did.
What do you think? How are you liking it?
So Raleigh is a fantastic city. It is, it's been on our bucket list of places to go and visit and to, hang out and do all those things. My husband and I are empty nesters. So we have 3 adult children and we have 2 in-law kiddos. And
that's right.
First grandbaby is due in a couple weeks. I can't wait.
Do we know what the baby is?
We do, but we're not saying.
Oh, it's a secret. Okay,
It's
got
a
it.
secret.
Mhm,
Yeah.
fine.
But anyway, so a couple weeks. Anyway, so when our youngest went off to college, we moved from the suburbs of Maryland to downtown DC. And, we wanted to just sort of live the city life for a little while. We had a fantastic time.
Yeah, you did.
We did. We really did. And then, once COVID hit, sorry, can I? Yeah,
You
once
can say
COVID
that.
hit.
It's
Yeah, once
fine.
COVID hit, we decided that, we could work from anywhere. And so we
Yeah.
wanted to move a little out of the city and go and be near my mom. So my mom is like the best
Got
person on the
it.
planet. She's the best.
And right there. And so
right
there you
there,
go.
she was literally right there. And so we moved to an apartment in the suburbs of Maryland for a year, and then things shifted again, and we picked up and moved. So when you downsize
Yeah.
and you get rid of the stuff, you can move on a dime,
And you can do that.
That's basically what we did.
So you're just living your best life.
We are living a pretty blessed life
Yeah.
right now, and God's been so good. I mean, at every turn, He's just really provided for us in what we needed to have, and yeah. So we're just having a fun time. We're having
It's fun watching,
time.
and it's been really cool because
It's like, where's Laura now? Right?
Well,
Like,
it
where
is
did
a
she go?
little bit. It's a tiny bit like that. But you and I met in women's ministry.
We did.
We now each have our own women's ministry. You've had yours a lot longer. You know,
3 years.
yeah,
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
we
yeah.
might be
Yeah,
kind of
about
the
the same.
same.
Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of might be the same.
Yeah.
But we kind of feel the same way about women's ministry and women.
Yes.
We've been pretty open about it. Like, I mean, not just in the Catholic sense or whatever, but we've struggled with it, which is why we went into, you know what, I'm going to make my own. Like, I'm going to write my own stuff, my own women's ministry. Watching you develop as a Catholic speaker, and you are a Catholic, like, female ministry guru, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh,
I mean, you've written, like, you have Tuesday's Journal, you go live, you write retreats and conferences, and you're speaking. You've been to Australia. I mean,
wow.
I
forgot I did all that.
You
right.
did,
I know.
You do
like,
all of that. You know,
Yeah.
you have Encounter Grace, right?
We do.
Yeah.
Oh,
I am
gosh.
Seed for you.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
We had a little fun.
That was a lot of fun.
Go
We
ahead.
had,
we had a
talk
lot
about
of
it.
fun at that because the Nationals and the Astros were in the series at that
That's
point.
right.
And so your whole monologue
Yeah.
for my conference in front of all these Nationals fans was
Right.
all about the Astros.
It
It
was.
was very well received.
I wanted no one to like me.
No, they loved you.
I mean, it was fun.
They loved you. We had a good time at that.
No, we did.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you, like, so what made you get into women's ministry? Like, what made you wake up and say, I'm done going to this stuff? Not that you don't, you still attend.
I do.
And you're a great cheerleader for it as well. But you're like, I got some things to say.
It's a great question. And I'm a Catholic educator by trade, so that's what I did, and was working as an assistant superintendent for, a Catholic school's office. And it was my dream job, Liv. Like, it really was. Like, I felt like I was making a difference. I felt like I was working with principals and teachers to help their schools become even better in their charism and their, mission. And the Lord made it really clear. He said, let it go. That's an homage to my friend Taylor. Anyway.
Taylor, who sings all the time.
He does sing all the
sings
time.
all the time.
That's my shout out to Taylor. Anyway, so the Lord made it really clear. And he's like, I have something better for you. Just don't tell me no. And so I said, Lord, what is it? And he said, just don't tell me no. And so I felt this calling to bring women together. And really women that are more like my age and stage and season of life. So like 40 to 65-ish. And to really have them come together and just talk about the faith and their life in the faith. I talk a lot about the power of ordinary, and you talk a lot about extraordinariness in that, right?
Yeah.
So one feeds into the other, and the
true.
other leads back to the other, which is just a beautiful. I think that's just like
that's kind of
so
us.
Like, it's so us.
funny.
It really is.
That's so us.
And I love that.
Yeah.
But the idea is that, there's a couple of reasons. Number one is that a lot of times women feel that they don't know where they fit in the church anymore because, like I said, my age and stage, because the programs, and I think rightly so, are geared now towards let's bring the youth in, let's keep the youth connected.
We're losing so many young adults.
We are.
Yeah, we really are.
And so shout
I
out to the youth ministers of the world. Y'all are like on it.
Yeah, I think that's why they're like kind of like, oh, let's make up 1,000 things for young adult
Absolutely.
ministry. But then you're over here going,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
I'm in my prime.
Yeah.
So
So
I'm in my 40s, 50s, 60s,
Yeah.
70s, and we're just tossed aside.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. So my generation is, we work full time, we have kids, we did all the things. And so, we can't go to a daytime thing that maybe the the Ladies Auxiliary for Knights of Columbus or the Ladies Sodality. And they've been doing ministry for so long and they do it so well. They're so faithful. But we can't attend those things. And so I just felt like there was a gap. I was craving some female friendships, some female, just sisterhood to really journey with that. I have no sisters biologically.
See?
So I get what
You
you're
get what I'm
saying about the
saying.
guys, so
Yeah.
female friendship was hard for me for
So
a really long time.
That might
Yeah.
be why you're such a good mentor for me and female friendships, because it was something that you yourself, it wasn't the easiest.
It was
thing
not the
for
easiest
you.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm an introvert, which
Yeah.
people are like, wait, what? I know I'm
But
an
you're
introvert.
an
I'm
outgoing
like,
introvert.
I am.
You are.
But after
Yeah.
today,
Yeah.
I'm going to need to
You
go.
need about 7 days.
I do. Yeah. And just don't talk to me.
And
So-
after today, I'll be jumping off of cliffs. Like this
You'll be
gives
like, I
me
need
energy.
more.
I
I need
know.
more.
I'm going to go walk in a Walgreens and find people. It's so sad.
my work is done here, y'all.
I know.
Like we're done.
I-
No. So back to the,
Yeah.
to the ministry, it was this idea of bringing women together and saying, we need to share our life in the faith. We have to learn from and with one another. So I have a dear friend, Penny Bailey. Remember
Yeah,
Penny?
Penny's awesome.
And, she sort of had it on her heart as well. And so we said, let's get together. Let's see what God has put on both of our hearts. And so we started Encounter Grace, and it's a Catholic Christian women's group. We do online and in-person events. But we wanted this to be about a faith journey, right? Like it's not a one and done, kind of get together. Like we want to accompany one another. So it's based on the visitation.
Right.
So it's
I love that.
intergenerationality. It is sitting at the feet of the other. It's about serving the other where they are in that season or stage of their life. And it's about those really beautiful conversations that happen. Like when I think of the visitation, right? Like I want to picture Mary and Elizabeth sitting and having their version of coffee and talking about all the things. Yes, there's good and holy things that they shared, but there's also just the things that women can talk about. Like
how dusty it is.
Like how dusty it is, right?
In
or
Nazareth.
right.
Or like how awful the manger's going to be. Mary's gonna be like, listen, I know this is coming. I don't know if she did, but I just feel like she would.
Right.
I just feel like Mary would know. Like
Right,
she's
but-
gonna be
but
like,
the
listen, it's gonna be
questions-
smelly.
I know,
And
but
Elizabeth would be like, I'm there for you. This is not true. This is not theological at all.
it really isn't. But I get tickled. Like I get a kick out of thinking about what is that conversation? What was that?
What do they really talk
Because
about?
the heart of a woman, right, needs another woman's heart to sort of make that heart connection. We need men in our life, and that's, absolutely. But there's something really beautiful about when two women are able to come together and just share their hearts.
I love it.
And the envy's put aside. There's no jealousy. It really is about wanting the best for the other. Right?
Connection and not competition.
Amen, sister.
Yeah, that's what
Right?
you're all about. So what did you do to give yourself permission to listen to God? Because listen, he tells us a lot of things.
He tells us a lot of
And
things.
I think that's the extraordinary is
Yeah,
God. Obviously, that's
right.
the big, there we go. There's the big secret. Just, So how do you give yourself permission to listen to him?
So
be
it was
extraordinary.
a lot of discernment, and it's a lot of combating the lies that Satan tells us all the time.
We talk about those lies a lot.
a lot.
Laura constantly is calling me and being like, hey, I know that you're thinking or listening to these lies. And I'm like, how do you know that? She's like a wizard.
I don't know. God just puts it on my heart and says, "Call
Yeah,
Liv
very
because
good
she
at
needs
that.
you." Yeah,
But-
it's being open to Holy Spirit for sure.
You have a hard time listening about the lies of
I
yourself.
don't know what you're talking about. I'm just gonna drink my coffee now.
Exactly. So so it's when you can quiet those down.
Yeah, when you can quiet those down,
That's when you
and that
can
is
listen.
that's a learned practice. It
Okay.
is. You have to practice that. You have to be really mindful of it, and really being surrounded by good and holy people in my life who just pour into me over and over and over. I had somebody recently who was helping me do some social media stuff. And she says to me, she goes, "I believe in you more than you believe in yourself."
That's probably true.
And it just about stopped me in my tracks. And so when people can speak truth and love into you about what they see in you, right? Where they feel you are doing what the Lord has called you to do, like you've stepped into your giftedness, right? that makes all the difference.
Yeah.
It makes all the difference in the world. So listening to that, my husband is a saint here on earth, and he's gonna, he's just has been so supportive. And he's like, Laura, you got to do what God's called you to do. He said, because if you try to fight it, you cannot outrun.
Yeah, that's going to be bad.
Yeah, you cannot outrun God.
No,
I don't
he's
care
kind
who
of
you
a
are,
big
what
deal.
you're. Yeah, he's
So
He's part of it, yeah.
how has improving your female relationships improved your marriage, improved your vocation?
Wow, that's a great question.
Thank you. That's why
Can
I
I
do
get
what I
back to you on
do.
that? No, I'm just kidding. So I think I have the with these friendships, and I really do call it sisterhood. I think that I have the opportunity with these women to really share my heart, to share the feminine heart, right? The feminine genius of my heart. And so my well gets filled to overflowing, from women pouring into me. And then I have so much more to give from the overflow. So my needs are getting met, like that feminine genius part of my heart is getting met, like that ache that I have maybe. I think you know what I mean.
Sure. Yeah, I absolutely know what you mean.
And then, so then I can be more intentional with my husband, and there's a different need that I need from him, right?
Yeah, of course.
And then he needs me in a different way as well. So the friendships
it all works
have just
together.
been, it's such a beautiful,
And it does
it's like
improve
somebody
it.
planned it. It's like there's a big plan around this. I wonder, right?
What is it?
What is that? What could that be?
So I have to ask, do you wish you had a sister? Are you okay?
I'm okay.
You are?
I really am.
I don't know. I still think every day, I'm like, oh, my mom, they're in their 70s now, but you never,
That would be a miracle.
It could be, it could be fantastic.
Yeah.
I would love
I don't live in
You're okay.
I live so in the moment that for me to look back and go, I wish.
No, I mean, from this point on.
No.
I just want to learn how to French braid.
Right. Well, that's why I have you, and that's why we have Kana, right? We have Kana. We're gonna bring her in.
I can't do any of those things. Listen, you are just so lovely. I would like to play a game with you when we get back. What do you think about that? I want to I want everybody to kind of see the fun, Laura that I get. I want a silly Laura. I want the margarita Laura, but wait, listen, it's in the middle of the day, so I can't do that.
Okay.
I think there's a law. I gave you coffee.
Yeah, I'll do the coffee.
But will you play something with me? It's going to be so silly. And here's where it's going to be a shout out to, Laura.
Okay.
There's some bad ministry out there. Have you been to some bad ministry? We're not going to name call. We're not going to do anything. This is a positive show. There's also some other bad things on the planet. Not bad like naughty. Bad like, ooh, that was not, who said that should happen? That's what we're going to do.
Okay.
What do you think?
Okay, I'm good with that.
But we're going to be positive about it.
We're going to be positive.
You're going to smile. Toxic positivity. That always works.
I don't ever want to question someone's motives
what
about what
great.
they're doing.
No, this is going to be fun.
But I also am not an actress, so I can totally understand where it might be coming from.
You're going to have a good time.
Okay.
You guys, you are tuned into It's Not That Late with Liv Harrison. Welcome back to It's Not That Late with Liv Harrison. I am still here with the fantastic Laura Roland, who is in town from Raleigh, North Carolina.
Woo, woo.
She runs women's ministry called Encounter Grace and other things. She has a podcast. What is the name of your podcast?
Short Story Longer with Laura K. Roland.
Okay. And she's a speaker, and people can find you on the interwebs at what?
You can find me at Laura K. Roland 1. So that's the number 1 on the end.
Oh, number 1.
And Encounter Grace 1.
And that's that.
Yeah.
You like the one. I like it.
So
yeah.
Facebook, Instagram.
All the things. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, that's what you need to know.
So we kind of talked a little bit, which is going to be the theme for the rest of the show, about really bad ministry and no, it's fine. Because listen, we've got to embrace that not everything's good. And that's okay, because that's toxic positivity to be like, this was fantastic. Here's the thing. Here's one of my favorite games. Look at how old this is. I don't know if Taylor can what, should I do that? Is that better? Taylor's like, you're the worst. If you're watching.
I'm trying to do my job, and then you just mess it up. You're we just keep going back and forth between the cameras. Back and forth. Back and forth.
This is, listen, this is a game for a couple. it's called To Know You Better. I know.
A couple of what?
A couple of people.
Okay.
And it says discovering wonderful new things about you.
Oh,
uh-huh,
friends.
exactly.
Friends.
A game of laughter and sharing for two. Okay. It's as cheesy. This is like a Saturday Night Live skit, isn't it? But can I
It's
tell you
looking that
something
way.
secret? I kind of love this game.
Okay.
I bought it because poor Nathan, I make him like do all, I'm like, look, I got this book and I got this whatever. And he's like, that's great. And he's so nice about it. So Laura and I are going to get to know each other better with this cheesy game from 1971. I don't know what year it is, but it should be. It looks like it. What does it say? 1997. That's sad. We have better graphics than this. Okay, anyway.
That's
So-
your birthday, and when you say that you were born.
That's right, 97. We're going to ask each other questions and we're going to answer them.
Okay.
What do you think? We might even throw one at Taylor. Okay.
Okay.
I'll
You
ask
go first,
you one.
so I understand the list
Okay,
here,
here's
how
the
it
question.
works.
If someone praises you, how are you likely to react? If someone gives you a compliment, what are you going to do?
Funny enough,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
a year ago, I would have been like, oh, no, like,
It's fine.
oh,
I don't see it.
Are you sure you like mean me? Like, whatever. And now I'm like, thank you so much.
Do you
I
mean
really-
it, though?
I do. I do.
You do?
But I'll tell you what, it's been a journey.
it's taken a while.
It has been a journey to really understand, because I look at it as like they recognize that I'm coming from a place of giftedness and it all comes from God.
Okay.
So that's
There
how
you
I
go.
look at
All
it.
right, great. All right, ask me one.
That's the rule. Like,
that
that's
was
it.
it.
That's it.
This is
okay,
it. See
here
how
we go.
painless this is? I like this game.
Okay.
It is cheesy.
Um,
I want it to be 1972. The questions are at the bottom. There's a quote. I don't know why.
okay.
I'm not really sure.
Okay. I'll never say never again is the quote.
Uh-huh.
Have you, Liv
Uh-huh.
Harrison,
Yeah.
ever made a New Year's resolution that you kept?
Yeah. I
Do
did.
tell. I need
I
to
did.
know.
It's actually one of the best things I ever did. My grandmother is currently 97 years old, and I am one of 58 first cousins. Like, there's 58 of us, grandchildren. I'm the sixth oldest of the 58. And one year I realized, I haven't really kept in contact with her very well. And so for my New Year's resolution, it was to call her every week. And I did. And I did that for years. And now we're actually super close.
I love
And
it.
so we have a great relationship now. And that was the best New Year's resolution I've ever kept. This is a great game.
Look at what we've learned.
See, even cheesy can be great.
See, all right.
Taylor can't. He loves this. He's so happy right now.
This is really funny. It's just like, is it a game?
It is a game. We're getting to know each other better.
There's prizes at the end.
There's prizes.
For the
I have
best answer.
cupcakes.
For
We're
the
gonna have
best
we get you
Okay.
get whoever wins gets to choose a cupcake.
Okay.
But there's no losers. Okay.
Wah,
Here's the
wah,
next
wah.
question. And this is how bad this question is.
I'm so nervous.
That old gang of mine, ... Okay, who writes that? Okay. The jocks, the intellects, the rebels. Again, who writes this? When you were in high school, what kind of group did you hang with? We also want to hear from Taylor Schroll. Go ahead,
Oh, my
Laura-
goodness.
Laura K.
So
Roland won.
I did not hang with any group.
Oh.
I really was a loner in high school.
Ooh, you were on the fringe.
I just sort of like sat.
You were Ali Sheedy.
Yes. I just sort of like sat and watched and sort of was like,
Were you
I had
judgy?
I had no.
Okay.
I just never felt like I fit in
Okay.
any particular group.
So you just kind of watched.
I mean, I liked everybody
Yeah.
and, sort of got along with most people, I think.
Sure.
But I moved to the area where I went to high school when I was 12, and they had known each other since they were like in the womb,
Tiny.
basically.
Yeah.
And that was really hard to break
That's
into.
hard.
And so, yeah, so I didn't really, but if I had to pick a group, eventually I was with singers, like people.
Oh,
in-
choir
in-
people. So
in
you and
chorus.
Taylor like each other. Taylor,
We do.
what were you in high school?
Just like Laura, I too had no friends.
See how mean he is? See how mean he is? Fire
Listen,
him.
I got his number.
You're fired.
I got you.
You're fired.
I got you.
No, but so
he
I-
did have friends. And
I
Laura
know you
had
did.
friends.
I did have friends.
Okay, go ahead, Taylor.
I was an athlete, so like my only friends were like my teammates.
Yeah.
But then by my senior year, I was the I grew up like when High School Musical came out, so like the whole like
You're a
grouping
baby.
things. So like I was the one my senior year that like I was the one bringing all the groups together because like I finally figured out if none of you like me, maybe you'll all like each other, and I can be that link.
Nice.
So, Taylor, are we all in this together?
Troy.
Yep, that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be
Zac
Troy, but I was
Efron.
really like the lady that was like, I'm just over here baking cookies.
That's hilarious. Oh my gosh, I love it. All right, let's hear one
it's
from
your
you.
turn. Okay, I'm going to choose this one randomly.
Yeah.
Here. Okay.
I already have mine for the next one.
Okay. Oh. Give light and the darkness will disappear by itself.
I love that she reads the quote.
Desiderius, sorry, Erasmus. I'm so bad about that.
I don't know. I'm
Here's
not reading
the
those.
question.
Yep.
In what way or ways are you idealistic?
What's idealistic? Does that mean like
Like
I'm going to have 20 podcasts and they're all going to be successful.
that's it? Is
Taylor,
that like a
you know
dreamer?
her
It's like-
so well.
Is that like being a dreamer?
Yes.
Oh,
we could say dreamer.
All the ways.
Right.
I'm idealistic with my friendship with Taylor. I'm idealistic with my career. All of it. Yeah, what Taylor said. That's true. I want to
Okay.
be Ryan Seacrest. Okay. I am going to read the quote for this one.
Okay.
If I had to live my life over again, I'd live over a delicatessen. Anonymous. Who would say that? Why would we write that down? That is the weirdest quote I've ever seen. This game is so weird. Okay, but it's a funny question.
Okay.
What kind of ethnic deli or restaurant would you like to live over? I find that fascinating.
Oh my gosh.
I find it dangerous.
That's what the question said.
Honestly, I could. Oh, wow. That's a great question.
It is a good question.
It's a very great
Because
question.
what would you smell all day?
I
And what could
know.
you run downstairs and grab?
I would need to live.
We live in San Francisco.
I would need to live above a pizzeria, like
Yeah.
an Italian restaurant. Like,
Grab a slice.
exactly. They
It's a
just
good
They could just
question.
hand it to me up the steps.
Good
It would
question.
It would be fantastic.
Ah,
I like that idea.
I don't know if there's a food I wouldn't live.
Well, this is true.
You order delivery from the pizza
Okay.
place. What's your address? Your address.
Oh my gosh. Oh, here we go.
Okay,
You
I'm
ready?
ready. Yep.
The double-decker treehouse in the backyard, the hidden passageway in the basement.
This is so cheesy.
What are these quotes?
I don't know.
How is this a game?
Hilarious.
So bad.
Okay, but here's the
Okay,
question.
All right.
What was your favorite
Yeah.
spot in your childhood home? Did you have like a spot that you would like, that was like your space, like you would go to?
Interesting?
I know,
Oh.
right?
Okay, yes. My parents built a playroom and they told us it was a playroom, but we each had our own sectioned gated area. Which now I look back and I'm like, I see what they were doing there.
Exactly.
I grew up in a gated community.
Okay, I was going to say that and
exactly,
I didn't.
100%.
Taylor sliding in.
Totally. So yeah, but I had all my stuff there. I also had a tree house my parents built because they built onto the house. So they built something while I was little and they had all this extra wood and they built me a like legit playground. Like I was like a park, y'all. Like it was amazing. And my tree house was phenomenal and I loved it up there.
There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
There you go.
All right.
Okay. Ooh, this one's deep. I don't know if I want a deep one. I kind of want a silly one again. Let me get a silly one. Okay. Ooh. Okay. This could go either way. I want it to be silly. Okay.
All right.
I'm not going to read the quote.
Okay.
Okay. I could read the quote.
Okay.
No. What heroes would you clap for? I want them to be imaginary. Who were your imaginary like heroes when you were little that you you got so
I have an
excited?
answer. I have
Okay,
an
let's
answer.
go. Who
and
is
it's
it?
going to be really random.
I'm ready.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
so the Treehouse Rock, right? Scholastic Treehouse Rock.
Oh yeah. Oh,
The character?
Schoolhouse.
Schoolhouse Rock. Did I say
yeah.
Scholastic?
Well, I
Sorry.
just said Treehouse.
I was
and then
thinking
you said
books.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Magic
All right.
Treehouse.
No, not Magic Treehouse. Anyway, Schoolhouse Rock.
Schoolhouse Rock.
There was this character and she was probably like 12, and that's whatever. And she's got like the cape behind her. I think it was a woman. I always
Okay.
thought it was a woman.
Sure.
And she like stands there and she's got her hands on her hips and she's got the cape behind her.
Yeah.
And I just felt like that was like the most powerful 12-year-old ever.
That
And
was
I
your hero.
thought I
love
wanted
it.
to be her.
I gotta find out who that is.
I wanted to be her.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So that would be who
That
I
would have
yeah.
been who you would have said.
Yeah.
I would have said Wonder Woman because I had her underoos. You know
Well,
what I mean?
there's her too.
Like that was amazing. I had a lasso on my underwear, like everybody else in stars and stripes because that's what we wore in the 80s.
What if
And
it's not that late?
okay.
Okay.
So with that, you guys, I want you to come back because Taylor and I are going to continue this bad, cheesy thing. And we're going to do a sketch that sadly teenagers have had to watch. We're going to do some pretty bad free youth ministry skits with Taylor and Liv. When you come back, you're watching It's Not That Late with Liv Harrison. Welcome back to It's Not That Late with Liv Harrison. I'm with my buddy Taylor Schroll, who is acting as producer today, and now you're going to be actor.
I am acting and producing.
You are. You're doing both. You're kind of like Mel Gibson at this point.
Well,
I just spit
apologize to all of our Jewish listeners.
on you. Here's the thing. Are you technically still a youth minister anymore? You're not.
I mean, you know how you can like hire a hitman to come in and do the job, and then they go back to their town, and
is that what that's how
that kind of works? I'm like the hitman version of a youth minister.
Ministry.
I'm not a youth minister. I'm a coach because I realize I can yell at them more and not get in trouble. And then I'm like the hitman version. People are like, hey, come to Iowa or come to Arkansas and talk to our kids, and then leave, please. That's what I do.
It's like being a grandparent in youth ministry. Like you show up and you leave. It's like when people bring the grandkids over and you're like, this is great. And then they go home. So it's kind of like that. You don't have to worry all the time. But you've done enough youth ministry work, and so have I, where we've seen some really bad youth ministry.
Yours.
Taylor, that is not true. But do you remember how many skits, like you grew up in youth ministry as a kid, like I did, like we were actual youth in youth ministry. And there were some pretty cheesy skits. Like there were some pretty cheesy things that would happen. Do you remember anything when you were younger?
I mean, I remember the good one that was good until it was done 47 times. Do you remember when the everything skit became a thing?
Oh my gosh. And nobody even knows what that was. Nobody even knows what sound that was.
We played the recording
28 million
of
times.
Lifehouse.
Yes.
Lifehouse.
Lifehouse is retired now because of that one song.
Right, exactly.
There was also there's some stuff that you couldn't do today that my youth group did. For instance, we had a junior high retreat where we all died. This is true. Like in 10 minutes when we were there getting our snacks, they turn off all the lights and somebody comes in and goes, "You're now all dead." And that's what the rest of the retreat was. We had to write our obituary. We had to lay down and pretend we were dead, and people had to say nice things about us. We had to. The whole thing was morbid. I don't think you could do that today.
So we did one that is frowned upon now, but it actually it's frowned upon, but I actually think it's very effective. So I kind of want to bring it back. It was this thing at the beginning of the retreat. You probably have done the first version of it. Maybe you haven't done the second.
Maybe I wrote it.
Yeah. So back when you and Jesus knew each other, back in 2,000 years ago.
Nice.
So did you ever do the thing where it was like an examination of conscience and they gave you like an envelope
and the poking? Yeah.
And you had to like poke it.
Yep.
And what was it when you opened it up?
It was Jesus, or it was a cross, or it was something. And you were supposed to put up against like a light and say, look, the light of Christ can fill in the holes. That's all, nothing else. You poked.
You skipped the first part that like you opened it up and you stabbed Jesus 37 times.
Jesus,
But so we did.
It was really effective.
It was effective. We did that one year and it was effective.
Yeah.
And the next year we came back and like our retreat leaders, this was in college, our retreat leaders did it again. So everybody that's like in on it, like everybody that was there the year before, it's like, oh, we know what's going on. So we're poking the holes during the thing. What we didn't realize until it was too late, was that they had taken pictures of us as we were like getting off the bus and taking pictures of us as we were like going around the retreat. So this time, our sin stabbed pictures of us and our closest friends. And
they were in the envelope? You were in the envelope?
So we thought it was Jesus and we were stabbing him, and I opened it up and there I was, my sin stabbing me and my best friend and the girl I had a crush on. It was so funny. And then somebody it didn't work for. They only stabbed the other people. They didn't stab themselves once.
Yeah, the diocese came out because that was like the archdiocese had to come out and tell us not to. To us, we got it from Bobcat.
Yeah, because your sins didn't affect Jesus at
all.
I
don't know. I mean, so but the other thing was you could hear the poking. So like when they were saying things like, "Have you had premarital sex?" and then you hear. You hear all the poking, and everybody's like, yeah. And everybody's like, what? Or, have you gotten drunk? It's like all
Right.
this poking and like everybody's like, what? And like, so it was not okay like to do with teenagers for a million reasons, but then you're also supposed to not deface God. But the whole point was like the light of Christ.
You're also supposed to not sin.
Right.
So.
Listen, there were some bad things in youth ministry. There were some bad things, but I have to say, I really love the skits that are so cheesy and so bad.
I just dropped our controller for our clock.
This is a bad moment in youth ministry.
Well.
But our incredible executive producer, Anna, who also happens to be my assistant, which means she knows my calendar and tells me what to do when this is your dream come true, because I never know what to do or where to go. And Anna has saved the day. She saves me all the time. But she found some really bad skits, youth ministry skits. And I thought we could act them out because we love to act.
Like how I act like I enjoy being here.
How you act like you don't like me and that we're not friends, like that.
Oh, we went the opposite there.
We did. We went opposite. I did this with Nick De La Torre up in Ohio. Is that how we say his name?
I think he says Delator, and he was just very kind to you whenever you were on the show with him.
We did this free youth ministry skit, and it took us 15 minutes to read. It was the longest moment of our lives, but it was so funny. And he did like multiple voices and all that. But you're going to just do one voice, you said.
Yeah, I'm going to be a huge disappointment to you. You're like, oh, this is what you also told him that he was your favorite male guest. I was your favorite male guest
in Ohio. God, Taylor, you didn't listen. Okay, I love that you brought that up right now and made it awkward.
So angry.
So let's go into an awkward skit.
It just started getting awkward just now.
I gotta read the beginning of this. Okay, I want everybody to understand this is a free skit, so we don't have to pay anybody money to do this.
You'll see why.
But what's worse is this means that somebody's child had to sit through this, okay? Even if your kid is in youth ministry, they still make you do this kind of junk like in high school. They have like, I don't know, they have people come in for programs and stuff like that. So even if you're not, quote unquote, a youth group kid, you've had to see bad camp skits. This says, life is funny. The things we laugh at as teens are long forgotten or coming back into style. The things we thought were oh so cool are mocked by our students. So don't fret. Just laugh along. It's life. First of all, who says fret?
Oh so cool is one word. I would like everyone to know that.
So the skit can be used. They give us 3 options.
Oh.
3. It can be just for fun, to open a Bible study topic or message, or as a devotional message or a discussion starter.
So what I'm hearing is those 3 things are different. So Bible study and devotionals can't be fun. A Bible study can't also be a devotional. Opening your Bible is definitely not a discussion starter. It's so stupid.
This is great, you guys. And this is a whole website. We won't say where we got it, but
liveharrison.com. It's so weird.
Interesting. It's the
So much of clip art.
liveharrison.com. That's why it didn't come from me. Anyway, but it has all this like free resources in young adult ministry and youth and culture. Obviously, this is helping the youth's culture. So I'm going to set the scene. It says a new youth leader being interviewed by the church youth group. Characters is one new youth leader, Pat. Say hi.
Hello. I'm Pat.
And then there's 3 students, Amanda, Toby, and Caleb. And then props are optional, so we're going to go with no. Anything from the 80s. We've got you. You're from the 80s.
Yeah, I am from the 80s. You're the boombox. and we're recording this through a cassette tape.
Done.
We did it. Etc. Etc.
So this is our homage to radio back in the day. Taylor, a lot of the people are listening. I know some people are watching. So if you're watching, it's going to be funny. If you're listening, it's going to be funny. Because remember you don't know this, but there was a president called FDR. And he used to have fireside chats. And
wait, were you legitimately alive when he was alive?
I can't talk to you right now.
Oh my gosh.
And no, I wasn't alive.
I didn't think so, but I freaked out for a second. I was like, I thought that was like a long, long time ago.
It was a long time ago. But they used to do like radio shows, like they didn't have television. So like Little Orphan Annie was a play, that they would do on the like every Sunday kids would run to the radio to hear what happened to Annie, from last week. So that's what we're doing.
Man, life sucked back then.
Bringing back radio.
Are we going to, or are we going to just talk about
You're the opening line. You're the opening line.
Hi, I'm your new youth leader. I just want to let you know that I'm cool. Nothing like your parents. I can relate to you. So, any questions?
Yeah. Like, how are you with technology? Do you text?
I was texting already when I was your age. I learned about it in typing class.
Maybe you don't understand. Do you have messages on your phone?
Oh, yeah. I have a really funny answering machine message. Leave a message anytime, but since I screen my calls, you should say you are from...
No, I'm asking, can we send you messages from our phones?
You have a fax machine at home?
Forget it. What kind of phone do you have?
I think it's a rotary. No touch tone. What kind do you have?
Most of us have Android devices.
Your phone is a robot? Oh, you're kidding. You know, I could really do the robot at our middle school dance.
I can't get through this.
Breaking character for a moment.
Sorry.
This is how I'm going to start my next talk in front of like 500 kids. Hello. I would like to let you know that I am cool and relatable.
This is so bad. Okay. So where did you say they beamed you in from? Seriously now, can we get to you through the social network?
Oh, you like Star Trek too? This must be Father Darrell when he was a kid. Live long and prosper. Sure, you could page me anytime. Just punch in your number.
You can't be serious. Hey, you have a pager? Don't you know about Facebook, Twitter?
Oh yeah, I brought my yearbook.
Okay.
You can check out my mullet. What? I don't really care for Twizzlers. What is happening? The youth leader is drunk. What is going on?
This is going to make kids not go to church. This would not make kids stay. They would leave.
Yeah,
They
like we
would've
just
walked
answered the
out
question.
and
What?
left?
Like, why aren't your kids Catholic anymore? This is why.
This is why. It is this skit. Okay. Even my grandma's on Facebook. She checks my profile and likes my status.
Grandmas are like that. They always want to check out your side view. What is that? Like, I don't understand. We're going from old. We've gone from old language to new language, and I don't understand this one.
I can't stop laughing.
So they can sneak a smooch on you and tell you how much you've grown, the grandmas.
Oh.
Even with my long hair, she always says she likes my look. Grannies are awesome.
Can we have new merch that says
Golly.
grannies are awesome?
This is like the worst. I am so careful with things I say. People think that I'm not, but I think whatever they're saying. Like, there are just clips of me saying this stuff now.
Oh my gosh, this is so funny. So how exactly can you relate to today's teen? We aren't getting it.
I'm still cool. I've got Mick Jagger moves, Michael Bolton lyrics, and my Hammer Time dance is just about right.
Wow, you are cool. Hope we get to see your cassette collection when you bring in your boombox.
Yeah, that'd be cool. So what do you guys want to talk about?
Well, we talked about this verse in Bible study today.
And I would like to say that Amanda, Caleb, and Toby have to say this all in unison. So good luck.
It seems just perfect for you. Remember your leaders, those who spoke to you the word of God. Consider the outcome of their way of life and imitate their faith. Jesus Christ is the same yesterday and today and forever. And do not be led away by diverse and strange teachings, for it's good for the heart to be strengthened by grace, not by fools, which have not benefited those who devoted to them. Hebrews 13:7.
What is happening? The youth leader is the only, like, the kids just taught that? The kids in unison.
gosh.
Amanda, Caleb, and Tony
my gosh.
said in unison 4 sentences. It's like when you break
I
into like
can't.
song and musicals, like they just said this in
Right,
unison,
this was High
and
School
they're
Musical.
saying what the youth minister's supposed to say.
So you read the message. So what
The
was
message.
the message out of this,
The
Taylor?
message
and we'll
is,
be done with this. Oh my god.
Even if your church leaders, parents, and teachers aren't as cool as we think they should be, don't be fooled. They have a timeless message. No, they don't. Amanda, Caleb, and Toby do. They have a timeless message that blesses us today without any expiration date. You have one. God is not old-fashioned or a fad. Can you think of anything cooler than redeeming a fallen people to an eternal existence in a perfect heaven? Don't fall for mere appearances or script writing. Look at the heart and the Lord meeting our needs just as he has done throughout the ages. Who cares if the apostles were cool? Random dig at them for no reason. They passed on the gospel message, which is what we read about today. And it says,
Oh my
be the first to like this on Twitter. This website is ridiculous.
and scene.
I don't like. At some point, I wasn't acting anymore. I'm like legitimately angry.
Taylor's so angry. You guys, don't go away. You are tuned into It's Not That Late with Liv Harrison. Welcome back to It's Not That Late with Liv Harrison. You guys, thank you for tuning in on Veritas, which is 1350 a.m. if you're in the Connecticut, Long Island area, or maybe you are listening on their app. Maybe you're watching on YouTube. And even if you're not, go subscribe. You can also see the show on Facebook, and you can tune in on any podcast app. Every single Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, you can catch the show on Veritas. And then at 8 p.m. Central Time, you can then listen on any podcast app or watch the show. As you saw today, we had Laura Roland, who was just fantastic. You need to follow her on all the things. Laura Roland 1 on all of her social media, and Encounter Grace 1 for all of her women's ministry. Thank you, Laura, for coming in town. She was here from Raleigh, North Carolina. So fun. And my new producer, Taylor Schroll, who I hope will come back and produce again and hang out with me. He is just too funny. And if you're not following Taylor, you should be. His show, Forte Catholic, is something that you need to check out. And every now and then he lets me co-host. I just want to say, you guys, thank you so much for being here. I need your help, as I always ask. This is our first go at the show. We just started in July. We're going strong. But help me get through the rest of 2021. Share the show. Talk about it. Like it. Give it to a friend, whatever you can do, because we are working hard to bring you great content and for you to want to come back every single week. I do hope that you look at this week and say, how am I going to make it extraordinary, and do something fantastic with your life this week until I see you again. You guys have a great one. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, don't forget to give yourself permission to be extraordinary. You are tuned into It's Not That Late with Liv Harrison. Bye, y'all.